Episode 2 of the Mount Rushmore series, NFL edition, Calculage for the Sports Hit List by the fans and for the fans. This episode will feature Travis' favorite position, defensive lineman. So let me introduce my panel. Travis, of course, had to make a pick here to be on this panel. I gave him the nickname Mr. Right because he's always wrong. So, Travis, how you doing, man?
Even when I'm right, I'm still right. You know, even when I'm wrong, I'm still right. I could have been wrong, but I was still right. You know what I mean?
We have the self-proclaimed commissioner of the Sports Hit List, Mr. Ray. Ray, how you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, man. Always here, chilling as usual, man. Looking forward to this show.
We have Mr. Met, Kris Paschal. Kris, how you doing, bro? Welcome to the panel.
I'm doing well. I'm glad to prove myself that I'm more than just baseball.
All right, and we have the rookie himself, Branden Falco. Branden, how you doing, man?
What's going on? Be sure to check me out on the Falco Takeaway on Instagram.
All right, gentlemen, thank you for joining me. Episode 1 was a great success. People loved it, so let's get into episode 2. You know how the game is played. Everyone gets 4 players for their Mount Rushmore of defensive linemen. Since Travis played the position and he's very excited for this, let's give him the floor first. Travis, who are your top 4 players for defensive linemen all time in NFL history?
All right, now we're going to start off with number 1. My man Deacon Jones, all right? He is credited for being the creator of the sack, all right? Without him, he's the one that named it, all right? We still don't officially know how many sacks he had because it didn't become an official stat until 82. So I think he's estimated around 173 and a half sacks, which will put him 3rd all time. But you got to give the man who created the statistic a spot on the list. You can't do that. You can't go without him. Next, I'm going to go Bruce Smith, the all-time leading sack leader. Okay, 18 seasons in the NFL. He had 13 double-digit sack seasons, which is ridiculous. I don't think his record will ever be broken. Like, I was looking down the list of current players who are the sack leaders, and I just don't see them putting in the time to be able to break that record right there. Next, we got to go over to Reggie White, the minister of defense, all right? This man right here was ridiculous. God literally came down and shaped a defensive lineman, and it was named Reggie White, all right? What he used to do with this combination of speed, size, and strength was ridiculous. What he did to grown men, not just grown men, but 300-pound grown men, should have been a crime. He tossed them around like rag dolls. Like, those are somebody's fathers. Like, their grandkids gonna look at their highlights and look at them getting tossed around by Reggie White. It's kind of sad, but what he was ridiculous. And then last but not least, I'm gonna put my man Warren Sapp on the list. Number 99 in the programs, number 1 in your hearts right there, all right? Warren Sapp was the player I tried to emulate as when I was growing up. I was not good at it, but hey, I gave it a shot. All right, he set the tone out there. And Carl, make sure you use the picture with the cornrows of Warren Sapp, because that was the best Warren Sapp, all right?
Okay, all right. So Travis has Deacon Jones, Bruce Smith, Reggie White, and Warren Sapp. Kris, who's on your list?
All right, mine's going to be very similar to Travis's, but the best defensive lineman, in my opinion, of all time is the minister of defense, Reggie White. 13 All-Pros, 13 Pro Bowls, Super Bowl. He actually holds the record for most sacks in a Super Bowl game with 3. I mean, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, and it goes on and on from there. And honestly, his numbers don't even do justice to what type of damage he did during his career.
It really doesn't. It really doesn't.
He's a man amongst boys. I mean, he's just different world. Bruce Smith is, as a Jets fan, this hurts me because they injured more Jets quarterbacks than any other player in the history of the game. And he's an 11-time All-Pro, 11-time Pro Bowler. How many Super Bowls did he help lead his team to? Like Travis said, double-digit sack record, and also a nice, clean 200 career sacks. That's pretty impressive. And also a fun fact about him, he played in a 3-4 defense, which usually like focuses their pass rush around outside linebackers, and he was still able to compile almost 200 sacks in a Bills uniform playing in a 3-4 scheme. Unbelievable. And then even though I'm a hardcore Gators fan, I got to give him some love to you right now with the 1999 Defensive Player of the Year, Warren Sapp. I agree with Travis wholeheartedly. He revolutionized the interior defensive lineman position to what it is today with more of the athletic type of big man. So I got to give credit there. He's also a Hall of Famer. I mean, it's very easy to see. And my thing is, so you go then I was also thinking about this kind of hard. Like, what are the best defenses of all time? So I was like, okay, obviously the Steel Curtain. Who's the best player on those defenses? And then you get Mean Joe Green. So Mean Joe Green, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, Hall of Famer, NFL's All 100 team. The accolades go on forever. But my favorite fun fact about Joe Green is that he was so influential that the college that he graduated from, North Texas, actually renamed their football team the Mean Green because of Joe Green. So that's my 4.
All right, so pretty similar to Travis, except for the last pick there, going with Mean Joe Green. Commissioner. Now, Kris, let me give you a heads up. He's a Cowboys fan, so I'm hoping he's not going to have an all-time Cowboys list on here, right?
Nobody's perfect.
I swear I bet not had DeMarcus Ware on his list. We're going to have a problem.
It's going to be Richard Den.
All right, Commissioner, you're on the clock, bro. Go ahead.
Well, pretty much, like everybody's pretty much has the same names. You know, I had Reggie White. I mean, I hated him when he played with the Eagles. He was a man amongst boys, pretty much. Like Travis said earlier, he just threw around grown man like it was basically nothing. It was great seeing him leave, going to the Packers. It was great. But he's definitely on there. I think that's a no-brainer for everybody. Also, Bruce Smith, I'll give it to him too. He is the all-time leading sacks leader as well. And one of my favorites of all time is Warren Sapp, mainly because I'm a college football guy. I loved him when he was at the U, and I loved him watching him at Tampa Bay. He basically was the cornerstone of that defense. You know, he basically brought Tampa Bay to somewhat of relevance when they drafted him. But I'm going to throw this one out. Bob Lilly. I have to do it because he is a Cowboy.
Oh, no.
I have to do it.
God.
Yes, Bob Lilly. Yes. The Iron Man Bob Lilly right here.
Like
So he gets the nod just because he played a lot of games?
Hold on, Kris. Kris, let him finish. Let him finish up. Go ahead.
Listen up. Never missed a game. 11-time Pro Bowler, 7-time All-Pro, and he was All-Decade in 1960 or 70. He made the All-Decade team. I'm not saying it because I'm a Cowboy fan. Well, a little bit. I am saying it because I'm a Cowboy fan. But this man has the resume to be on the GOAT for defensive linemen. Never missed one game in his 14-year career as a defensive lineman. And like Travis said earlier, they weren't counting sacks during his time. So he would definitely have over 100 and something sacks. That's just
all right.
me.
Okay, so before we get into
I would have liked if you put DeMarcus Ware on there. If you had to put a Cowboy on there.
One second. Travis, 1 second. I'm going to allow you guys to go at it because we have to get to Branden. 1 second. Okay, so Reggie White, Bruce Smith, Warren Sapp, and Bob Lilly. Rookie,
Yes.
You're on the clock, man. Who you got?
First and foremost, when you're counting down, you don't ever start at 1. That's just a word of advice. So I'm going to start at 4. At number 4, we got Alan Page. Why Alan Page? Alan Page is one of 2 defensive players of all time to win the MVP award. And the only other player is Lawrence Taylor. If you're ever in the same sense as Lawrence Taylor, you did something right in your career, as well as being a 2-time defensive player of the year. At number 3, we got Joe Green. Why Joe Green? Mean Joe Green, 4-time NFL champion, 2-time defensive player of the year. And we know he's the most intimidating player, arguably, in NFL history. At number 2, unfortunately, it hurts me to say this, but I got to give some respect to Bruce Smith. I'm a huge Jets fan myself. He's hurt every single Jets player, quarterback that we've ever had, even though we haven't had anyone great. Why 13 out of 19 seasons. He's had double-digit sacks, 3-time defensive player of the year, and Bruce Smith, again, just absolutely eats quarterbacks for a living. And the unanimous GOAT, I don't think this is debatable at all, Reggie White. Reggie White, besides Lawrence Taylor, has no other defensive player in NFL history has controlled a game from the defensive side of the ball like Reggie White has. Every single team had to double team him, and it changed the way offensive looked at defenses. There's no way possible you can go about your defense without double teaming Reggie White. He was that elite. We know his big 21-year sack season, 3-time NFC Defensive Player of the Year, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, and Super Bowl champion with the Packers, holding the all-time sacks record in a Super Bowl with 3 sacks against the Patriots before they had any fans, before the bandwagons jumped on in 2002. The floor is yours.
Okay, so Alan Page, Joe Green, Bruce Smith, and Reggie White. So You guys have any objections to anyone's picks?
Listen, man, you know what? I can't even be mad at everybody's picks. They're pretty decent. I do got an issue with Branden over there, man. Listen, this is the first time we've been on a segment together. You can't show up to a football segment with all this basketball paraphernalia in the background, all right? I need you to change that. Like Yankees, basketball. Like, can I get – listen, if I was a Jets fan, I wouldn't want to show it either. But show some type of Jets something. Like, come on now.
Or just the football.
There, right?
This is the office.
All right, well, I'm gonna need you to get some football stuff in there because you in a football segment right now.
So are we allowing Bob Lilly to slide? Because I saw some people a little flustered when he made that pick. Is that okay?
That's your delusional Cowboy fan who had a
But Bob Lilly over like Charles Haley.
Hold on 1 second.
Right, like
1 second, Chris.
Bob Lilly over like Charles Haley.
Yes, Charles Haley wasn't a Cowboy long enough. He wasn't a Cowboy.
But that was the era of free agency. You can't hold that against him.
I can't hold it against him, but I'm not gonna. Bob Lilly was a Cowboy his whole career. Look it up.
Okay, but look at Charles Haley's career. We're also talking about the entire career, not just what he did for the Cowboys. Yeah. Charles Haley was the man for like the 90s.
He was, but Bob,
he got overshadowed by Bruce Smith.
He made the 1960 All-Decade and 1970 All-Decade team.
Travis, do you have any objections to Bob Lilly, or were you surprised?
I do. I mean, if you had to put a Cowboy, just because it seemed like you had to. I mean, you could have went Jamarcus. I would have rather you put Jamarcus Way on there. I would have rather you put Charles Haley on there.
Why?
There's so many other Cowboys you could have put on there before you got to Bob Lilly. Like,
the man is an 11-time Pro Bowler, 7-time first-team All-Pro in 14 seasons. That means he made the All-Pro team half of his career. Hold
on. Why does no one else have Alan Page when he's the only other defensive player in NFL history with an MVP award outside of Lawrence Taylor?
Because
no other defensive player has.
But what was his overall career?
Because nobody else. Because defensive line is a very stacked position. Right. The guys we have up there, they revolutionized the game. Like, these are people. You got the all-time leading sack leader. You got the creator of the sack. You got one who is just a giant freak of nature who was a force. So it's hard to put some people like that. Some people got to get left off the list.
And then somebody who's left off the list who I would even put above him is J.J. Watt, who nobody put up there. The guy's a man-child also.
I know he gets injured.
I know he gets
injured with injuries more.
Right? You know? Like, he started off on such a high. Exactly. I don't know where it's going to finish, though.
Seasons, though. 227.
I don't know where it's going to finish, though. I need to see the career in totality. Like, I don't know where it's going to finish with all the injuries.
Is that why none of us put any newbies on there? Like any current players?
Aaron Donald, I was thinking about. Aaron Donald,
but his career isn't over yet. It's not over.
Yeah, it's a little too early. I need to see more. I need to see a few more seasons.
Okay, so now we need to decide on the ultimate. This is where the challenge starts. Everyone's going to get one pick. Travis, off your top 4, who are you picking to make the list?
Man, I hate when you come to me first because then I gotta wait to make sure.
Okay, fine. I can go to someone else. Okay. So
start somebody else.
Okay, rookie. Go ahead, Rook. Go ahead, Falco.
Reggie White. He is the undisputed GOAT in terms of defensive lineman.
No doubt.
I don't think it's close. Just the way he changed the game, the way he revolutionized the game is not close.
Okay, so we got Reggie White for his pick. Okay, so Commissioner. Who you taking from your list to make the ultimate list? Reggie White is off the board.
Don't put that Cowboy. Don't put that Cowboy. Do not do it.
So wait, Commish, who you got?
Bob Lilly.
Bob Lilly.
Because of that nonsense, we all have to go chalk now.
Okay. So Chris, so now we have Reggie White, Bob Lilly. Chris, you get your pick. Who's making the list?
Just to make sure he gets on there, because it would be a disservice if he didn't, is Bruce Smith.
Okay, so Bruce Smith.
3-time Defensive Player of the Year, the Hall of Famer, NFL 100. It speaks volumes.
Right. Okay, so by the process of elimination, he put Bruce Smith. So Bruce Smith, Bob Lilly, Reggie White. So I guess I know who you're going with at this point now.
Yeah.
I got to go Warren Sapp on this one. Yeah, I got to go Warren Sapp.
Okay,
I mean, that's why I wanted to wait till last to see who was going, I got to put my man Warren Sapp up.
So did Rednell ruin the list? Or is it okay?
Yes, he did.
No,
Yes,
he ruined the list.
He ruined it.
I made the list. I made the list better.
No, you ruined it because Deacon Jones needs to be on this list.
So he ruined the list.
Joe Green too.
He ruined the list.
Let me tell you
Joe
something.
Green.
Wait, hold on.
What team gets the most ratings out of the whole NFL?
Hold on. So Joe Green's not on this list?
No,
No.
because of Bob Lilly.
Exactly.
Cowboys.
What team
Okay,
gets the most ratings in the NFL?
Renell, would you
Awful.
like to trade your pick? Would you like to change your pick or no?
I would not, because I have a solid argument. It's not just I have a solid argument. Look him up. I have it right here.
Do the right
11-time
thing,
Pro
man.
Bowler.
Do the right thing. You can't be a bandwagon fan. Like you can't just be a homer.
Listen.
You can't be
Hold
a
on.
homer on this
Hold
one.
on. So last week, Andrew almost made that outrageous pick. I think it was who was it? Champ Bailey, right? Was his pick, and then he ended up changing
Yeah.
it. So again, right now, would you like to change it for the hitless congregation?
I'm not changing it. I have a legit argument. He's top
come
100.
on.
He's top 100. He's all decade in 2 decades, 60s and 70s. 11-time Pro Bowler, 7-time All First Team All Pro.
How many defensive players?
Renell, people go watch this. We're gonna lose credibility.
Listen,
Come on now, people gonna watch this.
just a heads up right now. We are launching on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network next week. This will get aired
First
eventually at 4
impressions
o'clock.
mean something. Don't let this be our first impression. Come on, man.
Chris, are you okay with that pick?
No, he's out of his mind. But even the defenses he were on weren't even like the top 5 team defenses. So I mean,
give me one reason. Give me one reason why he's not worthy to be on it.
Because he's not even the best defensive lineman in Cowboy history.
He really is. He's
got
a champion. He's a Super Bowl champion. Like I said, he's all decade in two decades. I understand.
Okay,
but if you
let me
look at
ask this.
Super Bowl
Okay,
champion,
fine.
Joe Green's got 4 of them.
Okay, fine. So aside from the fact that he's a Cowboy, look at his resume. Could he make the argument though? Could he legit make?
We don't know how many sacks he has.
Because it wasn't. Joe Green's the same way. Joe Green is the same way too. We don't know how many sacks he has.
Well, at least we got a rough estimate of him and Deacon Jones. You find me a rough estimate of what Bob Lilly's sack numbers is, and then maybe we could talk. Like, I know it's not all about sacks, but come on now. When we getting down to the nitty-gritty of the Mount Rushmore, you got to come better than that. Just because you a homer and a Cowboy fan,
let me ask this question. Okay. Let me ask this question. Do you believe Skip would agree with that? And he's a Cowboys fan. Do you agree Skip Bayless would agree with him putting him on the Mount Rushmore?
He says Dak Prescott is better than Russell Wilson, so you can't even ask him.
No. Check this out. I had Joe Green on my list. But guess what? He made the first team All Pro 4 times.
How many defensive player of the years? Defensive player of the years?
Huh? I'm talking about
Joe Green made it 8 times.
First. Not all.
How many defensive player of the years did Bob Lilly have?
He has 0.
Oh,
but he has more first team All Pros than Joe Green.
We're talking Mount Rushmore. At one point,
but Joe Green was on one of the all-time defenses in NFL history.
He was the best player on that defense.
Right now, listen, I think the congregation, when they see us tomorrow, you may get suspended as commissioner. I don't know, man.
Right. This is some. See, this is why you Roger Goodell and you not Adam Silver. This is why. This is exactly why.
All right, give me a solid argument for Joe Green over Bob Lilly. I'm listening.
We just gave you one.
We just gave you 20 examples.
Because he won Defensive Player of the Year?
Yeah, because he was the main face of one of the greatest defenses of NFL history.
He made all decade 1 time. Bob
so are you changing your pick? Are you changing your pick? I see you swaying a little bit.
Are you saying that's just no. I need to hear it.
But making it 2 decades is not a real argument, though, because he debuted in '69, so he played during the '70s. What is he?
Wait, 69? So he played 1 year and made the All-Decade team in 69?
No,
Come on.
You know what?
Come on. That's terrible. That is terrible. I can't. Nah. Do we get a veto? I think as a group,
no, because
we don't get a veto.
When this is released, I believe the fans will be able to judge and vote, and he'll get vetoed based off his pick from them because they're clearly going to comment and just rip him apart.
I know what this is. I know exactly what it is. It's a lot of cowboy hate. I get it. You know, it is what it is.
Take it that way. You guys do that to yourselves. You guys are.
I gave you solid information. Yes, I'm a Cowboy fan, but I have solid.
Chris, you look confused, man. You look so confused, Chris. Are you okay?
I'm there with him. I'm confused too.
I just don't get it.
It's the cowboy love. It's the cowboy love. It is what it is.
He's NFL. He's everything on that list except for a defensive.
Okay, so to wrap it up, here's our final ultimate hit list. We have Warren Sapp, Bruce Smith, Bob Lilly, and Reggie White as your ultimate sports hit list Mount Rushmore for defensive linemen. Gentlemen,
give me a reason. Give me a reason to change my
vote.
If you're not gonna give us a veto, then I guess that's what we gotta go with.
I think moving forward, we need to have a veto of 3 out of 4 agree.
Right, like
you know what? At the end of the day, again, this segment was designed that everyone gets one pick. That's his pick. We can't be mad at it. That's what he decided to pick his top four.
We gotta let insanity rule. We gotta use logic here.
So again, before I close out, Warren Sapp, Bruce Smith, Bob Lilly, and Reggie White for your defensive lineman sports hit list Mount Rushmore. Gentlemen, Kris, thank you for joining me on this panel. Branden, Travis, and the commissioner made the call. Commissioner.
That's it. I made it.
Say it again, Branden. You have one more thing?
Yeah. So if you guys haven't already, please check me out on Instagram, The Falco Takeaway. I provide daily sports content every single day. If there's anything you'd like to debate with me or discuss with me, please let me know. And if you are a stranger, feel more than welcome to comment, bash my content, love my content. All comments are good comment.
Well, I'm going to bash your content because you have LeBron hanging up in there. I don't know what's going on with that.
I'm in the debate because you ain't got no football paraphernalia in the background of a football.
And Kris, don't even start about LeBron's the greatest.
I love LeBron.
Oh, boy.
Listen, we're not going to turn this into an NBA.
No, we're not. We're not going to do it. Okay. I'm closing it out. Okay. Thank you for watching the Sports Hit List by the fans, for the fans. Please make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe. We are coming to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network Wednesdays at 4 o'clock. You're going to get the best sports content out there. Thank you to my panel for joining me. I love you guys. Make sure you're staying safe out there, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right, Joe.
Don't represent us all.